Hello and welcome to your new beginning. I'm Eric Latrice. My passion, my purpose is helping you to live yours. Today's message is for those of you who are ready for a fresh start. If you felt like you needed to hit the reset button, or if you've just been praying to just be refreshed, if you've been praying to be able to just start again because things may not have worked exactly how you expected, but you know that you're in a running season or you're ready to run. This message is for you, and I would encourage you to subscribe, like the channel, and be a part of what's coming out because I know the power in renewing our minds daily. And I believe that that just comes with having that daily message of encouragement, with getting in our word and seeing what God has to say about our next steps. So that is what we'll be talking about today. If you want to read along, I'll be reading from Joel 2, Joel 2, verses 25 through 27. So that's where we're starting at if you want to grab that, and I'll be right back to jump into today's message. All right, welcome back, y'all. Listen, listen, I'm like clapping because I'm so encouraged by this word. I'm so excited because I know many of you have put something down. You've been thinking that it's too late. It didn't work the first time. It didn't work the second time. It didn't work the third time. And so now you're ready to give up. But today's message, I pray, just restores your hope and your trust in what God is able to do. And now I know people get caught up in exactly what something meant at the time when we read these verses. But what I like to see and what encourages me so much, whether it's through in reading a word, hearing someone else's testimony, is knowing that if God did it before, he can do it again. So I want you to read along with me. This is from Joel 25 through 27. I'm reading the Message version because it's really clear. I'll make up for the years of the locust, the great locust devastation, locust savage, deadly locust, fierce locust, locust of doom, that great locust invasion I sent your way. You'll eat your fill of good food. You'll be full of praises to your God, the God who has set you back on your heels in wonder. Never again will my people be despised. You'll know without question that I'm in the thick of life with Israel, that I'm your God, yes, your God, the one and only real God. Never again will my people be despised. This just shows me that God is truly a restorer. God is truly a restorer. And too often we get tempted to give up, to throw in the towel when we're right there on the brink of breakthrough, when we're right there in the current season of elevation, of things shifting, of blessings coming our way. Now, this is an example that I've shared several times. So you may have even heard this before, but there was a time when I decided to step out. I was like, I'm going to start doing these events. I'll start sharing and getting my message out in new cities and new places. And it was just so exciting. So I took this leap to host an event out of town. It was about 5 hours away. And let me tell you, I was excited because I had sponsors on board. I had media coming out to this event. And the only thing that was missing was attendees. When I got there, it was just a handful of people at the event. And I remember feeling like just embarrassed. I just was like, man, my initial reaction was that of just, I'm embarrassed. I have put myself out here. No one's at this event. And here I have people in media trying to interview me about this event, and the sponsors there with nothing to give away because there was no one to give it to. And I honestly wanted to quit, but the message that came to me that I spoke at this event was when the children of Israel were circling the city of Jericho, and they went for 6 days. I still remember this. And they went around for 6 days. And then on the seventh day, that's when the trumpet sounded. That's when the wall fell down. That's when everything shifted. And I felt in that moment, and I ended up seeing it in actual real life, that we could be, sometimes we're just on day 3 or day 4 or day 5 or day 6, and we're ready to throw in the towel, not understanding that God is a restorer. God can shift things rapidly. Things can just like that at the drop of a dime, just switch and change. And you can just see fruit come in your life in an area that you thought was about to be fruitless. But many of us stop marching on day 6 when we're right there on the brink of day 7, when everything's going to come together. And so that's my message today, to encourage you all that God is a restorer. And the beautiful thing that I see when it comes to the restoration is that I remember hearing someone say this, but how restoration can happen rapidly. And when God is talking about like restoring the years, there can be times where you felt like you were delayed for a decade. And it feels like in a month, a decade's worth of restoration has happened in a single month. I remember another time where I lost what felt like everything. I lost like most everything in a single weekend. And I was not sure how I would ever get through it initially at the time, but I was just trusting God in that season and just praying. And I remember that in a matter of weeks, just weeks, God restored. And most of the things that were restored, I ended up with better than what I left. And so that's for someone today. If you have been dealing with and wrestling with picking something back up, if you've been wrestling with starting fresh and starting again, if you've been wrestling with belief that God is able to restore, I'm telling you today, pick it back up. You may literally be on day 5 or day 6, about to hit day 7. If you have been called to ministry or you've been called to business, if you've had these ideas, and yes, they may not have worked the way that you thought they were going to work, but many of you are just, you're on the brink of breakthrough. You're on the brink, you're in it. You're in it. You're in the breakthrough. You're on the brink, you're in it, you're walking in it, and you just have to perceive it. You have to perceive it, because when we don't, it's easy to think that there's no point in doing this anymore. There's no point in continuing. There's no point in why am I even showing up? Not realizing that you literally can be in that season of restoration. And I'll tell you this too. Oftentimes when we're approaching restoration, when we're experiencing these moments, just like in Joel and just like throughout time, God will give us a heads up and instructions. More often than not, that heads up comes with some type of instruction. I think of another time. I remember like going through my journals, and all I felt God was speaking in that season through stories that I kept reading, just through that unction in my spirit, was prepare and pack. Prepare and pack. There's been seasons where it was purge and clean out and all these things. And when we're sensitive to Holy Spirit and we're sensitive to those promptings and those instructions, you will see breakthrough come like never before if you can just be obedient and know what you're supposed to be doing in that season to prepare for that restoration. The example that I used with them marching around Jericho, that was their instruction. It was like, march and be quiet. And that's a word too. Sometimes we want to march and tell everyone what we're doing. We're on day 3, day 4. 50 people done told you something to discourage you, and now you're ready to give up before you hit day 5 or day 6 or whatever you've been told to do, because we're too loud, we're too vocal, we're telling everybody what's happening before it even gets a chance to happen. But they followed their instructions, which was to march in silence for 6 days. And it was on day 7 that they were allowed to speak, and the walls came tumbling down. And so for many of you, it may literally be 7 days. You may be 7 days from whatever God has promised you coming to pass just by your obedience and doing what you need to be doing in this season. And it may not be for you to tell anyone. It may not be for you to tell everyone. It may just be for a specific set of people that can know about it because they're going to be marching with you. I don't know. Like, that's going to be for you to have that discernment. But in this season, do not take it lightly that God can restore. Don't take it lightly that you can pick that thing up and begin again and again and again until you get to where you know you've been called to. I have so much, so much to share in this message, but I think about too when David had lost his. I shared this recently where he had to go back to recover his wife and children, and he asked God. He sought God. He was in despair, like, I lost it. We came back, everything's gone. What do I do? And God said, go back and recover all. Recover all. So part of that restoration is literally going back and recovering and getting what was yours. It's not like they were getting restoration from something that was never theirs to begin with. This is yours. This is your portion. This is your heritage. This is yours to receive. So be okay with being in position and trusting that it can be restored. Be okay with knowing that it can come together. And I'm telling you all, in a practical sense, this is your life. It's relationships that you've been praying about restoration in. These are circumstances, again, like your business. There was an idea, maybe you stepped out to do it and it didn't give you the fruit, like an event. You got ready to do the event, no one came, and now you're ready to never do another event. More often than not, it's a lesson learned. It's a moment to just be silent, to take the feedback that you need so that when the time comes, God is able to restore. And when God restores a thing, I'm telling you, it's unlike anything else. It comes swiftly. It comes seamlessly. It comes without you even feeling like you're the one toiling for it or trying to piece everything together and figure it out, when we just get into that posture of surrender and understanding that God can do it. So that is my encouragement for you all today. Get in position to receive the restoration. And part of that is being willing to keep showing up for it. Do not throw in the towel. Do not give up. Do not look to the left. Do not look to the right. Get in position to receive what God has already said is yours. So if this message encouraged you, tell someone, tag someone. You all can stay connected with me across social media at Erica Empowers. And if you know that thing that you're going to begin again is stepping out and sharing your message and getting on more stages and speaking and writing, I have an international women's organization called Amplify Her, where we host live events. We do in person, virtual, all of the resources to help you turn your message into a movement. So if that sounds like something that is going to be a blessing to you, which I know it is, go to amplifyherlive.com right now to get your tickets. If you've thought about speaking, you can email me at info@ericalatrice.com or register for our speaker level. As long as we have tickets available, you'll be able to see that registration open. So I'm telling you, you want to be a part of this. Do not delay. Take action today wherever God is showing you to take action. And I promise you, is going to bear fruit in the right season. So that's it. That is my message for you all today. Go out, as I always tell you, make today so amazing that people can't help but smile and have joy when they encounter you. And also make sure that you subscribe here. That's the best way that you can support what we're doing. Subscribe on this channel and tell a friend about it. I will see you all in the next video. Take care.